Okay, so public speaking, right? We've all been there. That feeling like right before you have to give a big presentation, sweaty palms that kind of knot in your stomach.
Yeah, like you can hear your own heartbeat.
Exactly.
And it's interesting because even though not all of us, are looking to be on a TED Talk,
right,
being able to communicate well it's really important for almost everything we do.
Totally. And that's why we are doing a deep dive today into Speak Like a CEO by Suzanne Bates.
Yeah.
And I know some of you might be thinking, hold on, I'm no CEO.
Right.
But trust me, this book is full of really great advice for anyone who has to speak in front of people ever.
Yeah. One of the things I found so interesting about this book is how Bates uses these real examples, and not just any examples she's talking about, like big CEOs, important people, totally bombing their speeches.
Yeah, and that's kind of maybe a little bit satisfying in a way.
Yeah.
But it's also really helpful, right?
Yeah.
Because if they can mess up on a global stage, it kind of takes the pressure off of us regular people a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that making mistakes is just part of being human.
Yeah.
But the really valuable thing is that she points out these common mistakes.
Yeah.
So you can learn from them and avoid them yourself.
And one of the biggest ones she talks about right away is this whole winging it thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which, let's be real, we've all probably done it.
Especially when we feel good about the content. You think, I've got this.
Totally.
But as Bates says, even if you're an expert,
right,
not preparing can really backfire.
Big time. And she's got this story about a CEO candidate who everyone thought was a sure thing.
Yeah.
Until he gave this presentation to the board, and it was a total disaster.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't because he didn't know what he was talking about. It was because his delivery was all over the place.
Wow.
He was rambling. He was disorganized. It was rough.
So it's like a reality check then.
Yeah. A tough one, but important.
Yeah.
It's like that saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Right.
And in this case, not prepping for a presentation could mean losing out on a job or blowing a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And another mistake she talks about is depending too much on speechwriters.
Oh, yeah?
She uses this example of a college president whose first speech was technically correct.
Okay.
But had zero personality.
It's like listening to a robot, right?
Yeah. Just facts and figures, no heart.
Yeah, you're not connecting with anyone like that.
Exactly.
It's just boring. And it makes sense, when you're trying to connect with an audience, you have to be real.
Absolutely. People can tell when you're not being genuine. Like when a speech is just something someone else wrote.
Yeah, totally.
What's interesting, though, is they redid that college president's speech.
Okay.
They put in some of his own stories, about his struggles in college. And people loved it way more.
He became a real person instead of just some, authority figure. Makes you wonder why more people don't do that.
It really is a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And speaking of missed opportunities,
okay,
Bates talks about how crucial it is to actually answer the question.
Oh, you mean when someone asks a question and you just totally dodge it?
Yes. Exactly. Like when politicians do that, it's like they're playing dodgeball or something.
We've all seen it. It's kind of painful to watch.
It really is. And it happens in everyday life, too. Like in meetings at work.
Oh, for sure. And it's so obvious. We can all tell what's going on.
This makes you question if they're being straight with you.
Exactly. You're like, okay, what are you hiding?
Bates's point is that honesty builds trust. And that's true for any audience.
Yeah, even if it's a little awkward sometimes.
Right. Dodging the question always backfires in the end.
It's like honesty really is the best policy.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And on a similar note, she talks about how important it is to pay attention to your audience.
Okay.
She has this story about a law day thing she went to.
Oh, yeah.
Every single speaker acknowledged the judges and the lawyers, but they completely ignored all the people there for jury duty.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. I can only imagine.
It's like they didn't even exist. And it's something we all do sometimes without realizing.
Oh, totally.
You get caught up in the moment or you're nervous and you forget there are actual humans listening to you.
So how do we avoid that?
It starts with thinking about your audience before you even start talking.
Okay.
Like, what are they interested in?
Yeah.
What do they need to hear? What will resonate with them?
So it's not about you, it's about them.
Right. Public speaking is not one size fits all. You got to tailor your message.
And that brings up another point Bates made about using humor. Okay, but she doesn't mean telling knock-knock jokes the whole time.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah?
It's not about being a comedian or trying to be funny if that's not you.
Right. It's more about connecting with the audience in a human way.
Exactly. Like using humor to kind of break the ice at the beginning.
Yeah, or put people at ease.
She talks about this example of someone starting a conference with like a David Letterman top 10 list.
Oh, I like that.
And it totally worked. It was unexpected, and it made sense for the event, and everyone loved it.
See, that's something I could actually do. It's not about being like stand-up comic.
Right.
It's about finding those little moments where you can lighten things up a little.
Exactly. And even just like a little self-deprecating humor can go a long way.
Oh, yeah, like showing you don't take yourself too seriously.
People respond to that. It makes you relatable.
Like, hey, we're all friends here.
Exactly. So we talked about a lot of important stuff today.
Yeah, we did.
Like being prepared,
Yeah.
being authentic, actually answering the question, remembering your audience.
Right. It's like Bates gave us this whole toolbox for how to be better at public speaking.
And the best part is she uses all these real examples.
Yes.
So it's not just theory. It's like, hey, this actually happened, and here's what you can learn from it.
It's like we got a sneak peek at what makes the difference between totally nailing it and completely falling apart.
And while we might not all become, amazing speakers overnight,
Right.
just knowing about these common mistakes is a huge step.
Absolutely. So next time you're facing a big presentation,
Or even just speaking up in a meeting.
think about these tips. Be yourself, be prepared, know your audience, and don't be afraid to crack a joke or two.
Exactly.
And who knows, you might even find yourself like enjoying it.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Okay, fair enough. But hey, even if you just walk away feeling like, okay, I got this, that's a win.
Totally. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you with this.
What if instead of being terrified of public speaking, we thought about it as a chance? Like an opportunity to connect with people, share something important, or inspire someone.
That's a great way to look at it.
Because everyone has something to say. It's just a matter of figuring out how to say it in a way that really lands.
I couldn't agree more.